Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. In today's video I am taking you along with me on a behind the scenes photography shoot where it happened to have snowed as well. So the first couple of shots were a bit random. I loved the sky in this one, so this was my first shot of the day, which was a couple of minutes after leaving the car, I think. So here is the final result. I loved the sky. I wasn't quite sure about it looking at it in camera, but when I edited it I actually really liked it. So the walk that we were originally supposed to do, we couldn't due to the roads being closed because of snow and icy weather. These couple of shots didn't quite work out how I wanted them to. This one was way too dark, and as a result the low shutter speed meant that the photo was quite blurred, seeing as I didn't shoot on a tripod, which would probably have been a much better idea. One thing that really annoys me about myself and my photography, and I cannot be the only one that suffers this, is that I take about 15 minutes to warm up before I actually start taking any photos that I actually like. So the first 15 minutes of most of my shoots is me playing around with the camera, taking some random photos, hoping for the best, and then not liking an awful lot of them. This photo was the second successful photo of the shoot, and I just quite like the hedge leading it down the side. I didn't quite like this when I originally shot it, but there we go. What drew me into this road is the leading line factor of it, and if you know me, my absolute favourite composition technique is using leading lines, and this road, and any road really, will lend itself perfectly to this technique. And for this one I tend to stick to a 2x3 crop on landscapes, but for this one I went for a bit more of a cinematic style, and I think it works really quite well with this photo.
If it was the weather, the snow, it was my favourite weather, regardless. In my
With the snow being my all-time favourite weather to shoot in, I tend to go a bit trigger happy with my photography. So in this one I liked the trees in the background with the house. I thought it created quite an interesting shot and framed quite nicely. So I shot this in portrait, and you can just see the tops of the chimneys with the trees on the left, and again the hedges creating a nice leading line effect which breaks up the whiteness of the sky as well. By this point it had started to snow again, and it was creating some nice noise, like atmosphere into the photos, and I really wanted to shoot this tree as it was quite lonely. So I tried that, and personally I'm not a massive fan of it, just because I think the snow isn't defined enough on camera, so it just looks a bit blurry. But the overall composition, I quite like, just not the snow.
Snow!
This next image was just a bit of a fun snap documentary kind of style, and it's simply of my mum, my dad, my sister and our dog. I quite like it, and the snow in this one is a lot more defined than in the previous tree photo. Here I decided to try and shoot this hedge line and capture some of the fields along with the road on the left. In my opinion, this turned out a lot better than I thought it would when I shot it in camera. I really like how much road you can see and how it just frames the shot quite nicely, especially with the added noise of the snow. With this particular shot, I shot it in landscape originally and then decided I preferred it in portrait just because of how the hedge was creating this leading line and effect. This I really quite like because you've got the contrasting browns of the hedge close to the camera as it fans out to see the snowy fields with the snow in the background. This is a reshoot of one I did originally when we were walking out on the walk. We got a bit lost, so we had to come back the same way, and I preferred this shot more than the first one, as the road just leads in perfectly and it looks quite moody and dark with the melted snow. With this photo, similarly to the previous one, I didn't like how it looked when we walked out on the walk originally, so when we came back and the snow had fallen, it changed the look of it, especially looking up at it this way. And I think it's really beautiful with the autumnal colours, but also the snow in the foreground and over the centre of the path. I hope you enjoyed finding out a bit about how I shoot my photos. It is truly quite random, but I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching and see you next time.